Hello everybody. Today is a very special day. Today is February 13th, 2024, and that is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark release day. Anyways, my name is Mara, in case you didn't know. Thanks for joining us. Today, I'm going to be doing a full reading vlog of Magnolia Park's Into the Dark because I am thoroughly obsessed with this entire series, and I'm really sad to see Magnolia and BJ's story come to an end. We'll still see some of it in the Daisy Hates books coming out, but this is the last book that is fully in their perspective, and that is really heartbreaking. I became very attached to the series very quickly. This is a thick book. I think this is like 800 pages or 700. 700 pages. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I'm probably going to put spoilers. I really just want to like document all of my emotions and feelings so I can come back and watch this video and like laugh. You know, like I want to watch it like it's a movie. I'm very excited. I'm so excited. This came out today and this is the first Magnolia Park's Daisy Hates universe book that I'm reading as it comes out. I'm freaking out right now, super excited, cannot wait. I'm just gonna dive into this bad boy because this is a big book and I have some hockey games to watch tonight, so I need to get reading before those games. Jessa Hastings right now and just be like, girl, what do you mean by this? Oh my god, wait, like what just happened? I'm literally on page 9. What just happened? First chapter, the ending of Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, something happens. And in the first chapter of Into the Dark, it mentions like what had happened in The Long Way Home, gives an answer of like what happened, if you know you know, but doesn't say like how we got there. Like it just says this happened in The Long Way Home. Now this is everybody's life because of that, but there's no like explanation in between, and I'm like crossing my fingers praying that we do cover that in here. I'm gonna be really angry if we don't like address the elephant in the room here. What is going on? Be the best one I've made so far. I am a huge chunk of the way through Magnolia Parks and I haven't done an update because yesterday, here's what happened. Finished classes at 10 and then I had work that night, and so I read between like 10 to 3, got food, and then went to work. As soon as I got to work, they told me that work was closed. I didn't have my camera with me all day because I forgot to bring it to school with me, and then I went to Centennial Park and I read at the Parthenon. Here's a cutie little picture of me doing such activity. So now I'm on page 447 and I have this much left. I have decided this is going to be spoiler free. My last reading vlog was full spoilers because that book I read If Only I Had Told Her, and that book is just so emotional that I needed to like talk about it. That does contain spoilers. If you are wanting to compare your thoughts with somebody else's after you've read, then go watch that video, but if you haven't read it yet, then I would wait until you've read it to watch that video because there are pretty intense spoilers, like real spoilers, not just like implied things that we knew from the first one. Like it has spoilers, so don't go into that if you haven't read it yet. But with Magnolia Park, I think I want to make this spoiler free, but I am going to talk about a few things. I will say if you're not caught up to speed on the first 2 Magnolia Parks books and the first 2 Daisy Hates books, maybe be careful about watching like me talking about the book. If you just want to see like clips of me reading it, then you're fine. I think I do want to talk about The Long Way Home and like the ending of The Long Way Home, kind of speak vaguely about here. Does that make sense? If you have read the first 2 Magnolia Parks book, you know like a huge plot of it is the fact that Magnolia and BJ, which yesterday was Valentine's Day, so happy birthday to BJ. You would know that Magnolia and BJ's entire relationship is based around the fact that they're childhood friends, lovers who keep like falling out from each other. Not falling out of love, they just like can never make it work, and everybody around them is so annoyed because they're like, you guys are clearly meant for each other, and you guys are clearly both screwed up in the head because you allow this behavior, and nobody else in the world is going to allow it. So the only other person that's gonna allow it is the person that you're ruining your relationship with. Just freaking fix it and get together. So the first 2 books are just about them not being able to get their act together. In The Long Way Home, they start getting their act together a little bit, and then some really tragic stuff happens, and it leaves off on that. Into the Dark starts Magnolia and BJ being engaged. Now keep in mind, they were engaged after a fight, and then randomly we're just like, okay, instead of like getting back together and like starting slow and like really trying to make this work, let's just get engaged right now. So I'm a little bit scared because the relationship now is going a little too well for them. Like if somebody else is watching this video and they're like reading this book, they're probably like, girl, they're still like not really great for each other. Agreed. Based on what we've seen so far of them, this is like the best they've ever been, even though they're still really screwed up. They are having that same cycle of like, they keep like arguing, they'll like be in love and then they'll fight about something, or like a rumor will come out, but every time a rumor comes out, BJ's like, it's a rumor, like it's not real. So it's the same kind of routine, but it has a better ending this time, because then at the ending they're like, okay, yeah, you're right. But because of all of the years of trauma and like emotional distress that they were in, Magnolia like can't bring herself to trust him, and even though she says that she does, like she just knows deep down that like she can't give herself to him fully. So BJ and Magnolia end up going to couples therapy, which I don't consider a spoiler because we both knew that this should have happened like many books ago. That's where I am right now. There are other reasons why they're in therapy that I'm choosing not to include in the video because they are very heavy spoilers, but I feel like the idea of Magnolia and BJ being in therapy wouldn't shock anybody. So I don't consider that a spoiler. Right now, Magnolia is kind of accepting the fact that like things aren't as perfect as she tries to make it out to seem, because she's this London socialite that everybody admires and thinks is amazing, and suddenly like her life is just kind of gone downhill and the public has noticed it at this point. She's kind of accepting that things aren't okay. And that's where I am right now. I will say I'm a little nervous because this book is very heavy. A lot of people have cried reading it, just have said that this is like a devastating book, but that it's also like a clear and clean, crisp, like 180, not 180, full circle to the first book. So I don't know if I'm going to end this sad because of a plot point rather than just like the characters and the story being over with, or if I'm going to be happy because it was executed in like a cohesive way. I'm scared, but I'm gonna read and then give some updates. Like I'm so giddy right now, but I'm so sad, but I'm like so happy. Oh my god, I can't believe this series for like this point of view is over. I'm so heartbroken over it, but at the same time like I'm so happy. This makes me want to tell everybody that NF'd or hated the first Magnolia Parks book, you need to just continue. Like you have to just go into The Long Way Home and then go into the Dark. It's 3 books. This one's quite long. I cannot recommend this universe more. Like I understand in the first book and even in the second one, like it's constant back and forth. It is very, very toxic. Everybody's aware of it. In this book and in real life, everybody's aware that this is like the most toxic couple. But in Into the Dark, you learn so much more about them and why they are the way that they are, and the trauma behind them, and why they were trauma bonded, and why these things happen. Like the first book, it sets you up almost to be like, I hate these characters, there's no way that they should ever be together. And then you get into The Long Way Home, you're like, oh crap, like they actually went through some really bad stuff. And then in here it's like, wow, there's more stuff. Can't say that was me though, because I always loved them, and like it's a romance. Like I don't know, like it's a fiction book. Like first of all, it's fiction. I said that in like my first comments about Magnolia Parks ever. I was like, this is fiction. Like yes, it's toxic, but it is not real. It could be very real, but it's not. This story itself is not real. remember that. Have fun reading. Like, that's what this is this one. It's a lot of grief. So I wouldn't say it's fun to read this, but like those moments where you get giddy and excited, like 10 out of 10. I had so much fun reading this in the right moments. And if you've read this book, then you know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, I'm just like so obsessed with these characters and this universe, and I am so sad that it's over. The writing style, the jokes, the banter, the love between all of the characters, and like the found family aspect, like all of these people come from somehow broken families, like whether it's parents that were murdered or people that died, or you know, just like abusive families. Like these people are bonded together all by trauma, and they're just like struggling in their own ways. Like, you can't blame them for like having issues, because then you learn more about their issues and you're like, oh my god, like that makes total sense why they act like that. I loved this. I love this series, and I love Jessa's writing. Everything about it. Like, I need to reread this series, and I know I say that about like literally every book I like, that I'm like, I need to reread it. There are things that are answered in this that the questions were left open from the first book, and things in the first book that were planted as little seeds. Like, everything was mapped out so well, and it's only 3 books, so it's not like when I say like, oh, Sarah J Maas like maps out everything super intensely, and like that's a fantasy, could be like a 5 to 10 book series. That obviously involves a lot of mapping, but between 3 books you would think like that's not a lot. The things that she's planting and little things, especially because look at how long this book is. This was a 700-page book, and her other books are like 300 and then like 500, 700. That's a lot. And just the things that were like planned out so clearly. And if I reread Magnolia Parks, like the first book, there are things that happened in here that I could be like, she was teasing at this in this book, in like the first chapter. I am never gonna stop raving about this series, about Jessa, about Magnolia and BJ. Like, I will always be their #1 fan, and I know that the next Daisy Hates book is definitely gonna be like current time in this era, because that's how these books line up, but I believe there's gonna be another Daisy Hates book after that, and if there is, and if I'm not wrong and stupid by saying that, I need to see more of Magnolia and BJ and Magnolia's friendship with Daisy in another book following the ending of this, if that makes sense. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. This might be a 6-star read for me, which I've never declared one as a 6-star because it seems like a really high, obviously, like a really high rating. Ugh, like I just love it. I wish I could like frame this book and put it up somewhere. Like, I loved this. Ugh, now I need to go grieve the loss of these characters that in my mind are walking around London somewhere. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely go read Magnolia Parks if you haven't, and this is your sign to read the 3rd book in Magnolia and BJ's point of view if you haven't yet. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you.